Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Josh. I make videos on DIYs and room makeovers, so if you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe down below so you don't miss anything. Today we're going to be doing some air-dry clay projects. Clay DIYs have been pretty popular recently, so I figured I'd try it myself. Here are some inspiration photos that I used. In this video, we're going to be making some coasters, this knotted paperweight / decorative object, and a hanging planter. This is my first time working with clay, but it was a lot of fun, so let's get right into the video. So the first thing you want to do is to prep your workspace and gather your supplies. So for this project, you'll need some clay, a rolling pin or anything to roll your clay out with, and an X-Acto knife. You can also grab some warm water, and if you want to make sure this is waterproof, you can use a matte acrylic sealer, and then you can grab your paint. Project 1 is coasters. The first thing you want to do with any clay project is to knead your clay for a while, warm it up, get it nice and flexible and ready to be rolled out. And then you can find something that is the thickness that you want your piece and use that. So I used some old coasters. It made sense to me since I was making coasters, and I was able to actually use this for both thickness and shape when I ended up cutting out my coasters. A lot of people take popsicle sticks and stack them to the appropriate height. You can grab some of those at the dollar store. Once I cut this out, I pretty much had my coaster. But the next thing you'll need to do, since you can see that it is very jagged on the edges, is you're gonna go around with your warm water and just smooth over all the edges. Make sure you get both sides. Just really get in there, make it nice and smooth. And then once you're happy with your shape, you can set it aside to dry. These are how we're looking after we're fully dried. I let them dry for a full day. Next was time to paint. You can kind of see some paint marks from the original color I chose. It was a sort of dark orangey color, but I really didn't love how it came out. So I sanded that off and I went back in with this really nice tan color. I wanted to add some interest, so I took a dark rust color and I just started to draw some organic shapes, some arches, some circles. I did have to go over these at least 3 times to make them look like really nice solid lines. My last step was to use my acrylic matte sealer and let these guys dry before I could use them for my morning coffee. This next project is a knotted paperweight. I've seen this in a lot of different styles and a lot of different websites. It is something that I've absolutely loved, but they can often be pretty expensive, so I thought I'd see if I could do it myself. I know this looks like a weird long hot dog, but let's just ignore that, and we're gonna roll this out to be super, super long, and we're going to try to get an even thickness throughout. Really take your time with this. Once you have a good length and you feel that it's relatively the same thickness throughout, you can do your little knot and pull it right through. I was a little scared to do this, but the clay held up really well. Next up is just smoothing it out, and then I just cut along the ends just to make sure they looked a little bit more even. After I set this aside to dry, I was ready to paint it. I originally loved the color that it dried, so I tried to find a paint color that really kind of matched that, just to give it a more finished look. But in the end, I really didn't like this color, so the next day I kind of just went over it with a dark rust color. I didn't film that part, but you'll see it in a second. Once the paint was fully dried, it was time to use the matte acrylic sealer. And here it is styled. I'm really happy with how this one came out. My last project today is a hanging planter. I saw my inspiration for this one while I was shopping online, and I thought it would be a really easy project. While I was doing my research, I actually saw a couple other YouTubers have done the same project, so you might have seen this one before. But I just rolled out my clay to the thickness I wanted it, and I cut a skinny rectangle. And then I made sure I was able to bend it. I put holes on either side. I just used a skewer for this. That's the first thing that I thought of. And then, as always, we'll smooth it out and we'll leave it out to dry. You can see right there was a little crack, but you can always just take little pieces of clay in warm water, and with time you can really work your way into those cracks. I left it over this pulled pot just so it could dry with the appropriate shape. For this one, I did a coat of white just over the top to make it an even, consistent color for the base. You can ignore that other piece next to it. That was a sort of failed project. I was trying to make a soap holder, but I really didn't like how it looked, so didn't include that in this video. But for my planter, I just did this little mustard yellow detail along the sides. And once it was fully dry, I was able to add my string. I took this piece of twine and I added some beads. This was from a little kit I got from Amazon, both of these. I'll link that below for you guys. I just did a double knot on each side and I included 4 beads. Once that was done, as always, I used my little sealer. And here it is. Didn't have an air plant, so I just took a succulent cutting that I had just to show you how it would look. As always, thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave me a like and subscribe down below for more content like this. And definitely leave a comment below and let me know which project was your favorite and if you tried it yourself. I had a lot of fun with this. I hope you guys did too. But that's all for today. See you guys next time.